Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks Coffee. There's the cup right there. And we've got pumpkin spice latte. And in true Starbucks fashion, they misspelled my name. But Starbucks is based out of Seattle, Washington, and outside of the original location in Pike Place Market, as I felt like that was the perfect venue for me to review my first ever pumpkin spice latte, as yes, I've never had a pumpkin spice latte before in my life, and there are two reasons for that. The first of which being that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Starbucks, and the second being that I don't like pumpkin, so this drink has never really appealed to me, but I figured since it is pumpkin spice latte season, I would visit the original Starbucks and I would try it for the first time live on camera. It's going to be very interesting to see how it turns out, and yes, I waited in line a very long time for this, so I do have one bonus thing at the end, but let's not stall any further. I'm going to go ahead and give a first ever try to the pumpkin spice latte. Cheers. Okay, that is far more sweet than I might have expected. So I think I've had a lot of mixed feedback from so many people over the years about pumpkin spice lattes, but this being my first time ever trying it from anybody, it is sweeter than I expected. And I know Starbucks drinks in general tends to be pretty sweet, but this one right here just turned out maybe a little bit more sweet. I think I'd heard from some people that they can be a little underwhelming, but this right here is definitely a lot sweeter. Let me give it a second try. Interestingly, I don't think it really tastes that much like pumpkin. Honestly, it tastes a little bit more like all of the spices that they've got going on with this. It is a very sugary drink in general, and if anything, I do think it helps balance out the coffee because obviously Starbucks roasts on the significantly more developed, the darker side of things. So this right here, it's actually not bad. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go around drinking pumpkin spice lattes from this point going forward, but I think given everything I'd heard about this, it's fine. It's just maybe too sweet. I'm very curious how much sugar is actually in this drink, but it's okay. I'm going to give it one more shot. Yes, just for fun, I am going to go ahead and add a tasting wheel to this video as well, so you can kind of get an idea. But thinking on this, I was wondering what the tasting wheel would look like going into trying this for the first time. And since pumpkin is technically a berry, I was wondering where it would score on the berry in terms of that tasting wheel. And I think it probably finishes at the level 3 mark. It doesn't really taste that much like a pumpkin. The spice is going to score pretty high. I would say it's like a level 4. But in terms of the sweetness, yes, it's definitely going to be a level 5. Acidity's toned down. It doesn't necessarily feel like the most acidic cup of coffee. A lot of the other factors on here aren't necessarily going to score too high. You could say that there's a fair bit of body, but given that this is different from what I typically drink, of course it's going to have a little bit more body. It's a latte, and I don't think we've ever actually reviewed a latte on this channel. I've drank one before, but never really reviewed it on this channel. So there's the tasting wheel. That's what I was getting from this coffee, and I guess I will just kind of give my overall thoughts and impressions of this. And again, it's fine. I think I can see why a lot of people like it. It's just a very overly sugary, overly sweet drink in general. It does have fine flavor. I don't think that it's anything unique, special, or out of the ordinary. I'm not entirely sure what sets this apart from other pumpkin spice lattes, but obviously this isn't my forte. I just kind of wanted to get my own reaction to that coffee. But while we're here, I was able to pick myself up their reserve. This is a little bit more my speed in terms of we have regular coffee, but this right here is their reserve, which I know that they only sell at the Pike Place location. So it did kind of spill everywhere, as you can see, but I'm yet to try this one. I have a pretty good idea of how this one is going to taste, but this will be a kind of a bonus to this pumpkin spice latte review. That is a lot more what I was expecting. That right there is a very, very dark cup of coffee. It is one of the darkest cups of coffee I've ever had by far in terms of any capacity. And this right here, if I did make a tasting wheel for this, I feel like you could probably see the smokiness, the bitterness, all of the coffee components being very high, while it's lacking any sort of defining note. As for me, oftentimes when people ask me to describe Starbucks coffees, I'm like, they taste really burnt. They taste like charcoal. This one tastes like charcoal. There isn't too much to it. I'm not picking up any subtle or special flavor notes that's coming from this one. It's just a very heavy, dark cup of coffee in general. it leaves a very lasting finish too. That finish is going to score at a level 5 as well, because that is quite dark. It is quite developed. Definitely not my cup of coffee. I'm not entirely sure what sets this reserve roast apart from the other coffees that they do offer. It does taste like Pike Place blends to me, but again, this isn't necessarily my area of expertise. I just thought that this would be a fun little video. But I'm going to leave this at that. If you guys do enjoy this content, give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. This right here has been a review and my first time ever trying the pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks Coffee. Thank you for watching.